Hello, I'm Jessica. I'm the founder of Black Travelers Network, and I wanted to come to you in another quick video and kind of address a question that comes up very often. Forgive my messy office. It's a lot going on in here, a lot going on in my mind and in my head, but I'm also cleaning up and cleaning out office space, so please forgive the background distractions. With that being said, I just want to address the question of that always comes up is how many people are going on the trip. That is one of the number one questions that always comes up, and I feel like this video is important because it helps. I hope it helps to manage expectations. So for many of our trips, I feel like there's a time and a place for a large group trip, and there's a time and a place for a small group trip. A lot of our trips, my goal is to have them be kind of smaller group trips. And what do I mean by smaller group trips? I would say anywhere from 7 to 15 people is a smaller group trip. When you start getting above 15, I think that's a larger trip. I feel like the sweet spot is roughly about 10 people is probably a decent amount of people to have on a group trip. But a lot of our trips are based off of people's interest level and what they're willing to do and when they're willing to go. And so for me, I would say our goal is to provide more travel excursions and trips for those who are interested in the small group dynamic, largely because that gives you a chance to really get to know other people, to do some real networking. It also allows us to kind of explore things and to move quickly through areas as opposed to having to be slowed down by larger groups of 20 and 30 people, because everybody has their own idea, want to do different things, which is completely fine and understandable. It just takes more maneuvering when you're moving a group of 20, 30 people than it does if you're moving a group of 7 to 10 people. It's just different, right? And I find that the connections we have to the people in the locations tend to be deeper, more long-lasting connections as well. So that's another reason why I prefer the small group trips. The large group trips are great in the sense of, if we're getting together to gather our travelers so that people can meet each other, get to know each other, start the process of getting to know each other. I think it's a little bit more difficult when you're trying to coordinate like group tour after group tour when you're dealing with 20 to 30 people plus. And I say that because our last trip to Canada, we had probably about 30 travelers who came on this trip. And one of the challenges is it was just hard to get everybody in the same room at the same time. So even during our reception, like, people were doing their own thing. Different people were at different parts of the resort. So it's very challenging to bring us together. And so one of the things that I thought was helpful was that there was a lot of activities, a lot of stuff going on. People could learn to ski, or they could, karaoke, or they could just chill, or party. There were a bunch of different things that people could get into. Ice skating, it's a ski resort, so lots of things to do. There's a long list of stuff to do that I'm not even going to go into, but that is the environment that I think would be great for a larger group. Now, I'm not saying we would never do a large group, but I will tell you, as the founder, like, my goal are the smaller, more intimate group types of trips, to really get down and explore and have purposeful travel so that people can have a good time, learn the area, learn feel the vibe, the energy of the destination, and walk away hopefully knowing more about the place than most people who visit, who come from the United States. So I just wanted to share that with you. Most of our trips hopefully will be roughly about 7 to 10 people, perhaps a little bit more depending on the trip. But yeah, my goal is to bring you all together, to get to know each other, and to hopefully uh, be a springboard for you to do other things once we get back here to the United States. I love hearing stories about people who have started relationships or started businesses or started traveling together, so they're not always traveling solo. So that's all I have for today, and I will chat with you guys a little later. Black Travelers Network.